Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival Alpha 10. I'm an old guy gaming, and I just spent, I don't know, maybe about an hour or so off camera, mining and killing critters to get food and XP and ores. So we have a full stack of iron, about a full stack of copper, about a third of a stack of silicon, 116 promethium ore from what we picked up in the radiation biome. Plus, I was able to harvest that rock that seemed to be bugged with the survival tool, but the multi-tool, I'm sorry, the normal drill harvested it right away. We are also now level 15. We just turned level 15, so we've got some more skills to look at. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the base, and I'm going to get started with the next part of the construction of this thing that I want to do. And I'm intending to do most of that off of camera, but I'll at least, kind of show you what I have planned, and also, give you updates as we go along. Okay, so let's see. We want to pull all of the stuff out of here, out of the fridge in the spaceship, and we'll put it all inside of the fridge of the base. Let's put all the ores in the input box. And actually, you know what? I want to put this stuff in the refrigerator too. Input box. We want to put... I'm going to keep a little bit of promethium in reserve. Let's say maybe 15 of those. We'll put the rest of those in there. Let's put the pack... yeah... Maybe we should keep a little bit of this in reserve too, because we need that to make one or two other items, the raw pentaxid. It just kind of depends on how much that gives us. And then the output box, which is also just our normal storage, we'll put that in there and those things in there. Okay, so that takes care of unloading things. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going to happen here. I'm going to widen this tunnel a little bit more, just enough to be able to get the SV through here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to carve out a little bit larger chamber over here. I'm not planning on sealing it, in terms of pressurizing and stuff, but we will put a slab down. Let me get my light on. We will put a slab down, and this is basically where we're going to park our small vessel and our hovercraft, our main hovercraft, when we get it made. Which reminds me, that's something that's kind of next on the list to do, since we now have all the ores that we need to do it. So let's take a quick look at the hovercraft that I want to make. I want to make my camo miner. I can't make my deluxe edition yet because that requires some high-end ores, as you can see, and it's got mining lasers and the high-end armored plating, whatever it's called. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But this is the more basic miner, and it just requires the normal stuff. So let's see if we can get that started, so it can be cooking up. Oh, you know what? We are going to need to make some copper. So let's go ahead and queue up, say 300 copper. We're going to need more iron. We're going to need more silicon. So yeah, let's just get that stuff queued up. I also want to make some fuel. But before we make fuel, let's actually go to the small constructor. And I want to have a good little supply of drill charges and multi-charges too. So this has an output count of 5. So let's go ahead and do, say, 5 more, and that'll give us 25 of those, and that should last us for a long time. This has an output count of 3. So let's do, say, about 10 of those, and that'll give us 30 of those in reserve. When those are finished, then I'm going to have this guy start working on fuel. If I can remember where that's at. Okay, so look, doesn't look like I can make the big fuel in here. But that's okay, because I do want some small fuels. This is an output count of 2, so that's basically, let's make 100 of those, of the small fuels. And then I'd also like, I guess I don't have the large fuels learned yet. Okay, so that being the case, let's take care of that next. Let's do a ventilator, a wireless connection. I am going to do, well, I don't know if I'm going to use auto miners. We'll see. let's hold off on that. Here we go. Here's the large fuel pack. So let's learn that. And can I now make the large fuel pack in here? I still can't. Okay, so it only allows us to make the small one. No problem. Then what we'll do here is, let me make sure I don't need more than 200 or 300 rather of the ores, which I do not, so that's good. This also is an output count of 2. So let's make 100 of those as well with the promethium that we have. We're going to need a few pellets for the, to make some of the medicines. This has an output count of 10. So let's make 100 pellets. Let's make 200 pellets. Excellent. Okay. So while that stuff is cooking up, like I said, the plan here is going to be that I'm going to carve this out a little bit more. We'll lay down, a concrete floor. We'll pick this guy up. In fact, we can pick him up right now. He doesn't need to be there. And also widen the tunnel a little bit more. We're going to put a hangar door in place. In fact, let's go look at that. I can't remember what it was that I was missing to make the hangar door. Whatever it was, we can make one now. Okay, well, no, just one. Just one. Okay, so let's make a hangar door. Get that cooked up as well. And cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera here, do a little bit of carving out, and I will bring you guys back with an update on how things are going here in just a little while. Okay, so see you in a bit. Bye. All right, welcome back, everybody. I have now started the factory production of the camo miner. We have about 15 minutes and 25 seconds, to go on that. We have a hangar door that we've made, so we're going to put that in place next. And I also want to make some reinforced concrete blocks, which apparently we cannot make in the small constructor. So let's cancel this for a second. And I want to queue up, let's see, armored concrete, yeah. So let's queue up another, like, say, 100 of those. And then we'll go back to making these. So we wanted to make, oh, no, we can't do that yet. Okay. That's close enough. Okay. So let's grab the armored concrete that we currently have. And so I've carved all of this area out here and laid down a slab. As you can see, this is going to be the parking area for the hovercraft and the small vessel for this particular base. And I think what we'll do is let's actually grab these right now. Yeah, this thing, I'll tell you what, as soon as we make our next SV, then the white one that we're currently using, which, by the way, I'm going to actually probably paint, this thing's going to go away, and the white one will be our backup SV. Because I just do not like this thing. It doesn't even hover. Okay, so let's see. Try and level it out here. It doesn't have any lights on it either, so sorry about the darkness here. Turn it this way. No, don't dock yet. Doggone it. This is such a pain. Okay, let's just put it right there for now. The only reason I'm keeping that, like I said earlier, is just because it gives us a backup vessel if we, actually ever need it. Let's get this cockpit repaired here. Okay. Now let's grab the good small vessel. And we'll park that inside. Leveled out a little bit more here. Whoop. Yeah, I'm going to need to make this tunnel a little bit bigger. I can see that right now. in order to get this in comfortably. But let's park it here for right now. Actually, you know what I want to do too is I'm going to turn it around. I can't really get it very well into the external view because everything's kind of tight in here. Let's back it up to about here, move it over this way just a little bit, level her out, and set her down. That's not quite straight, but what we'll do is we'll make some, we'll actually paint some lines that we can use as a guide. A little later on we'll do that. Okay, so yeah, we need to make this a little bit bigger. But I think what we'll do is we'll use the dimensions of the hangar door to figure out exactly how to make that bigger. And I want to hold this back in probably to, I'm thinking here maybe. Okay. And now what we'll do is we're going to take our drill here and we're going to just kind of carve out a little bit more so it's more or less the same size, right, as the hangar door. This drill removes a lot of material, so you have to really kind of be careful. I might end up going, I might go ahead and just do another row of blocks along through here too, at least up to this point. I use the filler tool and, you know, set up a little spot for me to continue using those portable devices because they are useful for certain things. So yeah, let's do that and let's pop this out too then, so we can get some blocks down in there. And then we will follow suit with the rest of this and get that carved out so it matches the height of the door. Let's use the fine drill on this little piece here. Very useful. So that way we're not taking out ginormous chunks here. There we go. Good. I'm liking that. Okay, let's take this little knob of stone out. Maybe even that one too. Okay, so we're going to need to keep carving this back too. I just want this whole little corridor here to be roughly the same height on the inside, because that will interfere with our camera when we're trying to bring this small vessel in to park it, as we just saw there a little bit ago. I might end up blocking this out too just because it looks kind of weird. I mean, putting another layer of blocks here is what I meant by that. So if we do that, we've got to clear all that stuff out too. Okay, so let's keep carving back. This is pretty much the edge of the door, so all of this stuff here has got to go. I will say one thing though, man, these tools are a lot easier to use now, a lot nicer to use in Alpha 10 here. So Elion's done a really good job of improving them. Alright, we got this little tonsil here that we got to take out. And, you know, because this is a cavern in here, it doesn't have to be, like, perfect, but I want it to be, I want it to look good and all that. Be somewhat symmetrical. I got a little bit click happy with my my leveling tool, actually. And that's why there's a hole back there. So we might end up filling that back in. In fact, let's just do that right now. So let's go to the filler and just kind of do that. Love it. Love it. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, so let's lay these blocks down. All the way back to there. That looks good. And then we'll lay these blocks down here. Okay. I'm thinking, I can't talk. I'm thinking that's looking pretty good overall. Don't like that little blip of a hole right there, but if we try and put a filler in there, is it going to screw us up? No, it's not. That looks good, actually. That works. Okay, so let's fill this in now too, because it just looks kind of weird otherwise. What? Excellent. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. Now we need to take a look and see how things are looking on the outside here. Let's move out to here, and we'll get our drone out. So we want to pretty much do the same sort of thing where we make the tunnel here roughly the same size as the hangar door. But I want to be careful not to remove too much material at the same time, though. We'll need to put a block in there, of course, and some in here too. Just pop those little areas right there. We really just need it to be above, you know, the actual door itself, not the frame so much. Okay, it looks like we might have gone a little bit too hard there. But I think for the most part that should actually probably work okay. Let's remove this little ridge there. And yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We might see if we can bring some of this back in just a smidge here. More for aesthetic reasons than for necessity. Yeah, I was afraid that was going to come in a little too much. Before we put more filler in though, let's get the blocks into place. There we go. Okay, and then let's go back to here. And I just want to kind of caulk, if you will, into here a little bit, like so. There we go. Now I'm going to do some changes out here too, including, you know, fixing this issue so it's even on both sides, and we can do that, you know, much more easily now that we can actually pick stuff up rather than having to destroy it like the survival tool is only capable of doing. But I think for the most part this looks good. What if we just do a little smidge right there too? Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that works okay. Maybe we'll put some caulk in here too. Just like that. What about in here? There we go. It's almost as if the game knows exactly what I want it to do. So that's not actually sealed though. It's not a problem, you know, from the standpoint of pressurizing, because we're only really pressurizing in the base itself. But it does kind of get a little weird right there. But we might be able to trim that back off a little bit. Okay, what's it look like here? Yeah, let's do a little bit of a smidge in there too, just to kind of fill that in. Okay, so now if we take our fine drill, we should be able to cut this back without taking huge amounts out. Wow, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. Here, let's do it this way so we can see the beam. There we go. It's a lot slower than the big one, but it's pretty much what we need for this kind of work. A little finer, so we're not taking out like huge amounts of material. Okay, that's not even hitting the filler stuff now, it's just hitting the gate. So we can bring it back actually by hitting this here. There we go. Now, I can't actually remove that, but it's not really a problem, so we'll just kind of pretend it's not there. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. Just kind of pull this back. There you go. Sometimes it's like almost like it takes a little while for it to register that we're using it. Here, let's hit this little part right there. Whoops. Okay, now we're hitting the gate. We kind of need like a fine filler as well. But, you know, like I said, though, they've really improved these tools overall. They're better to use for sure. It can take a little bit of, you know, trial and error to get everything shaped and filled the way you want it to with this setup here. Okay, we just need to kind of trim this back a little bit. Whoops, I keep hitting the other button there. Trim this back a little bit more here. Okay. Can we trim that back? Okay. Good. It looks like there might, yeah, there is a little bit of a gap there, but I'm not worried about that because we're not trying to actually seal this cavern. If we were, then it would of course be important. Okay, looks like our mining vessel is done. Can we suck that up just a little bit? Is it even hitting it? Here, let's get in the drone. There we go. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want it covering, you know, the outer edge, so to speak, of the gate itself, because that doesn't look right. I think that works pretty good. Can we suck this little point back a little bit too? There, yeah, that's good. And maybe this one too, just a smidge. That's good. And what about this little protrusion here? Good. What about pulling this back just a little more? It all just depends upon what the voxel calculations are trying to do. Because, see, it's not taking what I want out, it's taking this out. But that's okay. I think we can leave it that way. That's not going to hurt anything. That gives us enough clearance to get in with the small vessel, so I think we're good there. Can we just trim this little point down here, too? Because that just looks weird sticking out like that. It's trimming everything but the point itself. What if we go back to this guy and just do one little tap? Boom. There we go. That works. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. All right, what are the hit points on this thing? This has 2,580 hit points. Okay. So, I might end up putting a couple more sentry guns up, so if the Xerax do actually blow the door, you know, and get inside, I'd like to have a little bit more firepower than we currently do. So we might put a couple of wall sentries up above those as well, which we can do. But I think, guys, this is pretty much what I had in mind for for setting this up. Let's go ahead now and spawn in our mining vessel. Oh, so it does go this way. Okay, so let's turn around and pull it back this way. Make sure it's more or less straight. And there we go. There's the camo miner. I built this originally, I think, in Alpha 8 it was. And then, did further upgrades to it. And so this is my starting mining vessel. And then I have an upgraded version of this with with lasers and armored blocks. But this is a pretty good little vessel, and it'll serve us well here in the early to mid game. So I'm excited to actually go try it out and see how the mining vessels do with Alpha 10, because I've only mined by hand so far. So let's see. We were on it to also do a little bit of painting, didn't we? How much time do we have left in this episode? We got about 5 minutes left. Okay, so let's make a paint gun. So we'll do that. Can we make a paint gun in here? Yeah, we can. Okay. We'll cancel this then. I don't know. What did I have? 32 of those. So let's just make 31 more. Okay, so it's making it right now. They have combined the texture tool and the paint gun into one tool now, which is really cool. So this will be my first time working with that configuration. Let's eat some food here. I made some ham and a cheeseburger and something else too. A couple more beverages, which we can actually put in our inventory. Okay, so this is the texture and the color tool now. That's what they're calling it now. Okay, so the first thing I think we'll do is let's get our main lane here done. So we'll get in the drone. And let's see. So symbols, textures. So that's okay, so that's how we switch between colors and textures. Gotcha. Okay. So let's be on textures. And then we want to, let's look at symbols for a second. So we got these, I like to use these here. So let's grab this guy. And we want to put these in place like so. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Yeah, we'll just so these just kind of indicate the main lane there. And then maybe what we'll do here, we should probably keep this going. So let's just do this all the way out. Like so. Okay. And then for this part, let's choose a texture. And I'm thinking it might look good to use something along the lines of, I'm looking for, yeah, for these guys here. I like to use this texture. I don't want to use the larger area, coverage area, because that will that'll look kind of weird. Let's do the ramp as well. What happens if we do that? Yeah, you know what? That looks good. Well, we might actually just use this on the entire floor in here as the base texture. Okay, cool. And we'll add the blocks in there later. I might end up, just for you know, just for aesthetics and whatnot, I might actually push these back a block and remove all this so this goes all the way back to the base. Okay, let's do the same texture just for the whole entire floor. And we'll do something similar inside the base too, but we'll probably have to do that in another episode since it's getting late here. Uh-oh. I changed the texture on the miner. I'll have to fix that. Okay. Probably would have been better to do this without everything parked in here, but we can do it as long as we're just careful about where we're actually hitting. There goes the timer. Yeah, I'm going to move that ship because I don't want to screw it up like I did with the miner there. Okay, so we got that done. Let's go back to symbols and back to this. And what I want to do here is just kind of indicate the parking area. Whoops, I had it right the first time. No, not there. This one. Okay. And then we'll go back to this guy here. Like so. Okay. And then, so that gives us that. There's really only room, well, yeah. There's comfortably only room really for the small vessel and the hover vessel. So what I might do with that is make this a lane here. And the small vessel will give a little bit larger lane too. Like so. Okay, let's pull this forward. And get this fixed up here. And we want to go back to our texture. This texture here. There. I think that works pretty good. Now if we wanted to also kind of give us a little bit of a guide, then we'll go to symbols and we'll grab this guy. Is that what I want? Maybe this guy. And then we'll take this one. That way, if our camera's a little bit weird, this will help us figure out where we're going. Okay, that should be good. And then because this is a double block, then for this one we're going to have to use two of them, I guess. So we want to go to page 4. What if we did this? And then we went and did this. There. That might work okay. And it just gives us, like I said, a guide for parking those in place. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, I think we are finished with this episode. I hope you guys loved. Well, I do. I hope you loved the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Come and hang out with us on Discord. Come and hang out with me on a live stream. I do live stream several times a week on Twitch. And you can find the links to both of those places in the About section of the YouTube channel. One more thing before I go. What I think I'm going to do is wait until the next Xerax attack. And when that's finished, then I'm going to take all of this down and we're going to redo the front of our base here and make it look nicer, a little more well organized and a little more well thought out. But I don't want to do that right now because I could be right in the middle of taking everything down and then they could attack. And once you get the message, I mean, they're here very soon, like within a minute or so, usually from what I've seen so far. I don't know if that's because I'm really close to the drone base. Well, I am really close to the Xerax territory here, so that probably has something to do with it. But anyway, that's the plan, for redoing things out here. I'm going to paint this, so we'll do that in the next episode. And of course, we have some deco that we'll do in here. I'm not going to get super fancy with it, but we'll make it look a little bit nicer than just, concrete all over the place. Okay, so that's the plan. All right, we've already done the outro, so you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.